Start to finish, the new build construction process, what does that look like? How do you get into it? What are the steps? Today I want to talk about that. Specifically, we're going to do an inventory home. So you're buying off the inventory of a builder. Let's talk through the entire process of what this looks like, what you can expect, when you need to do certain things, how it all works. I'm going to give you all the details. Let's get started. Here we go. When it comes to buying a brand new home, there's a little bit of a different process that you follow than when you're buying somebody else's resale home. So today I want to kind of walk you through all of this. Somebody asked this question on my channel. So I was like, hey, perfect opportunity. Let's have a conversation and talk about how to walk through this entire process. Today specifically, we're going to talk about the inventory side of a builder. So when I say new construction, I use that term kind of interchangeably between, hey, you're building from the ground up or you're buying off of a builder's inventory. Either way, for me, it means a house that has never been lived in. You'll be the first person to live in it. Before we get started, I'm just going to say my name is Zach. I'm so excited to meet you. If I haven't met you, we haven't talked before, welcome to my channel. I sell real estate here in the DFW market. Specifically, I help a ton of people sell new construction. That's what I like to specialize in. So if you're thinking about a new home, you found the right place. I'm here to provide information, provide value, help you along the way. And I would love to represent you and your family in a transaction as you buy your next home. If you have questions, my contact information as always is right at the bottom of this video. Feel free to reach out. I'm here for you, whatever you need. Let's make it happen. So talking about inventory. So this is, you are buying from a builder and they started building what they call a spec home. So they build it on speculation that they're going to be able to sell this property. So for some builders, they build strictly spec homes. Like they don't do anything from contract at the dirt work. They are all speculation. For some, they mix in those developments depending on what they're looking at, lot inventory, all those different things. But usually, for the most part, most builders, most production builders in larger developments have a handful of speculation homes going at any given time. So this is, you've decided, hey, we're not going to wait to build. We want to get in and find a home that fits for us, that we can move into relatively quickly. And so here's kind of what that process looks like. Number one, we'll start at the top. Number one, of course, is we need to identify the location and the budget. Those are probably the two biggest things that we have to understand is, hey, where are we going and how much do you think roughly that you want to spend? From there, after we have location and budget, we start looking at builders. And if you're looking for quality builders or opinions on builders, I've got extensive resources on all of that here on my channel about builders that I like, builders we should avoid, what to look for, what to ask. All of that is in the catalog on the channel. Feel free to check that out. But identify a good quality builder, identify the location, identify the neighborhood, and then, or of course, after you get a realtor, because you want to have representation in that transaction, you can definitely 100% you can go through this entire process without a realtor. I don't recommend it, just for the simple fact of builder sales reps work for the builder. They are paid by the builder. They are, they're an employee of that company. So they're great. They're phenomenal to work with. But at the end of the day, they have to look out for the best interest of their company, versus when you bring a realtor in, they're looking out for the best interest of you. And realtors are paid by the builder. So most builders have a separate marketing budget that pays for a realtor in a transaction. So it pays for you to have representation. So once you've identified the area, you've identified your realtor, hopefully it's me, we're working together, then we go start having conversations with the builder and we start asking about, hey, what do you have on inventory, right? And so what you have to understand, so too, as we look at inventory is subjective. For some builders, they will not sell a home until they are at the framing stage of that home. So it's like, hey, we've started a bunch of homes. We can't sell it to you until we get to frame stage, or a little before, because we pick all of the designs. We're going to kind of do this in a package, and that's when we're going to be able to sell it. And we have these amount of homes available in this floor plan, and here's what we have. Others will sell, as they start projects, hey, we can sell these and you can pull them off of inventory. A lot of times you'll see homes that are about to be completed or have been completed, and those are sitting on the builder's inventory. Those are homes that are obviously they're going to close the quickest. Usually when we're looking at a builder's inventory, most of the time you're looking at about a less than 90-day close. Most of the time, unless you find something earlier on in the process. But for the most part, you're looking at a less than 90-day close. So identified the builder. So 2, now that let's say we found the house that we want, you need to understand that you're probably not picking anything. You're definitely not picking anything structurally on that house because all of those permits have been submitted for and plans have been drawn. So anything that changes the structure on that home is definitely not getting picked when we're buying off inventory. Anything internally, so design choices, carpet, flooring, countertops, cabinets, there's probably a 70% chance that you're not picking that as well. It just depends on where the build is in the timeline. If it's early on, there's a chance, and it depends on the builder, there's a chance they will let you make design changes. Again, that's super dependent on the builder. Some of them, so like for example, I did a contract this past week with Trophy, and their business model is, hey, we do by packages and we don't make changes. Like that's how they do that. But I did one a few weeks ago on a David Weekley home that was early at frame stage, and they actually said, yeah, we can totally make design changes. So similar stages, different in results. So just be mindful of that. Like I said, if you're buying from inventory, 70 to 75% chance you're not going to get to pick any of the design finish outs. However, the builders should have like a run sheet or like a info sheet and like pictures of everything that's been picked. And so you can see it and be like, oh yeah, we like that. This is what we want. We're good to go. That's 2. 3. So now we've kind of worked our way through that. We've identified the home. And we say, hey, this is the house that we want, and this is kind of where the real fun starts, and it starts moving really, really quickly. So we've identified the home. Most of the builders are going to tell you, hey, you need to, in order for us to get into contract, we're going to need 2 things. Actually, 3 things. We're going to need a pre-approval from our lender. So they're not going to force you to use the builder's lender. Like, they can't force you to use them. However, a lot of times builders will tell you, we need you to pre-qualify with our lender just to make sure that you're good to go. Like if something goes crazy, like we can still close this loan. But also with that, a lot of times you'll see when we talk about incentive money, and I'm really big about talking about those. So, when the builder says, hey, we're giving you money in closing costs, they tie that to the use of their lender. So again, to go back to my Trophy example from earlier, we were getting, I think it was 10,000, but it was 20 if we used their preferred title and their preferred lender. So, they kind of tie those things together. So they want you to get pre-approved with their lender. Of course, they're going to want you to sign their contract, and builders' contracts are written to protect the builder. They are legalese and legal out the wazoo, written to protect the builder. There's a lot of language in there. So just read through it, but also know that like if you read through it and you're like, I don't like that, they're going to tell you, we don't care. We're not changing it. So make sure you read it, make sure you understand it, but also know that like you're not going to change their contract in terms of what they have written and they're using as a production builder. So sign the contract, get pre-approved, sign the contract, and then pay your earnest money deposit. So earnest money deposit, always tell people is like, think about like engagement ring. So, right. So like when my wife and I got engaged, I went out, I spent money, I bought a diamond and I gave it to her. I had to spend the money. And so that engagement ring is like, we're not married yet, but we are moving down that path. Right. So that's kind of the thought behind earnest money is, hey, we're not married to this home. This is not officially your home yet, but we are moving down the path. So you've deposited earnest money, which means that ratifies the contract. And that means that the builder can't come in behind you and decide, we like somebody else and we want to sell it to them. The question always is how much is earnest money? And that is 100% dependent on builder, neighborhood, and community and how far along we are in the process. For some builders, it's $5,000. For some builders, it's $10,000. For some, it's $15,000. For some, it's 2% of purchase price or 1% of purchase price. It is like, I can't give you a straightforward, this is what you should expect. In earnest money, like I can give you kind of that range. That money, super important, that money is going to have to be deposited relatively quickly within you signing that contract. Usually builders want that within the same week of that contract being signed. You can ask, and not that they will always say yes, but you can ask, like, let's say it's $10,000 and you're like, oh man, I don't have that right now. You're like, hey, can we Can we split it up and do it in like 3 payments, right? And you're like, hey, can I do, 3,000, 3,000, and then 4,000, right? They're not going to let you stretch that for, forever. And it is solely a case-by-case basis. But if you need that, that is always the potential to ask. But you just need to know, like, on the front end, you're going to have that money available to make that deposit. Now, that money is your money. It's kind of like the engagement ring, right? Like if you break it off or something goes wrong, you break up, you're getting it back. That money is credited to you at closing. So that's super important. Credited to you at closing. Now, we talk about the engagement ring, you're getting it back. There's some circumstances where, like, if you breach the contract or you do something wrong, the builder could keep your earnest money. That is always a possibility. So when we get into contract, when we get ready to go, you need to know, hey, we've got skin in the game. We've got money on the line. This could be, this could go away if we go south on this. But if we close on the home, that is your money that is credited to you. You'll see it on the closing disclosure as part of your, final documents. So we found the home. We've gotten pre-approved. We signed the contract. We deposit our earnest money. Now you're buying off a builder's inventory. Next step is you're going to finish out your loan application. So the lender, they're going to take any sort of documents that they've been missing. So all pay stubs, bank statements, credit, student loans, income, anything that they need to finish out your kind of file is what they're going to take. This next part is, again, solely dependent on where you find yourself in the process that you bought the home. So if we're looking at a builder's home that is pretty much done or is definitely done, the builder's going to probably want to close that home in 30 to 45 days. So if you're looking at your timeline and you're like, oh, what are we doing? Like figure out what makes the most sense for you. If you're like, hey, we need something in 30 to 45 days, then we need to look at something done or almost done on their inventory sheet. If we need a little bit more time, we need to probably look and say, hey, what do you have that's, in the 60 to 90 day range? But if you're finding something that's done or has been done for a while, they're not going to say, hey, yeah, we'll close that in 6 months. They want that home off their sheet. They want it gone, right? So, but understanding that too, like the more they want it gone, the more potential there is that you might get a little bit more incentive money, or maybe a little bit in a price reduction, or maybe they'll throw in blinds or gutters or a washer and dryer, maybe, or a refrigerator. Like if you find it farther along on their stages and it's been sitting for a little bit, that's where you find the best deals possible. So also, working backwards a little bit, if you're like, oh, how much time do we think we have? I always tell people countertops and cabinets usually means we're within 60 days of closing that home. So you buy something a little earlier in a phase. The moment we start seeing cabinets and countertops, that's when we kind of understand, hey, we're probably 60-ish days, give or take a week or so from closing that home. So just, plan accordingly. Sell your house, cancel your lease, whatever, plan accordingly. As we get closer to closing, the lender's going to finish out your file. They're going to take care of all the things that they need to take care of on that end. You will not make any more earnest money deposits. Like most of the time you've made your one. We're buying off inventory. We're good to go. The next biggest expense you have coming is a home inspection. So usually somewhere between 10 days and 2 weeks before closing, the builder's going to call and they're going to say, hey, we're ready to do it's a blue tape walk. It's a new home orientation. It's a warranty walk. All of those terms are interchangeable. Basically what that means is we're almost done with your home. We want you to come check it out. They will invite you to look at your home, and you will walk through that home and learn how everything works, how your HVAC works, how your sprinklers work, sprinklers, goodness, where to shut your water off, where to shut your gas off if you have gas. Everything that you need to learn about your home is that it's at that meeting. You will also get a chance to kind of walk through and do what we call blue tape, which is you getting to say, hey, here's the things that are deficient. Here's the things that we need fixed before we close. Here's the things that are missing. And it is normal, 100% normal to have deficiencies. Like it's always going to happen. You're never going to do those walks and be like, oh, everything is ready to go. It is super normal. This is the time when I also tell people it's super important to get a home inspection. So what I like to tell clients is, hey, if we schedule For example, if our orientation walk is scheduled on a Wednesday, on that Monday or Tuesday, I'd like to get an inspector in there. We coordinate it with the builder. They're a third party. We bring them in. They run through, do their inspection. We have our report in hand. And then when we do that builder walk, we can hand that report over to our builder and say, hey, here's what we've also found. That these are the things that need to be addressed before we close. They do that, like I said, 10 to 14 days before closing, so that it gives the builder time to get all of their contractors back through that home. You will be so incredibly surprised what they can do in 10 to 14 days. Because like sometimes clients will be like, they've got a ton to do. Are we closing? I'm like, oh yeah. They'll get them in here super quick. They're going to close it because oftentimes the home builder, like the superintendent in the neighborhood, their bonuses are tied to that home closing. So like if we have a closing date and they don't make that closing date, it's cutting into their bonus money. So they want to do what they can to get that closed. So yeah, a lot can happen in 10 to 14 days. They'll walk you through it. You'll document everything. Say, hey, here's what needs to be fixed. Here's what we're missing. Here's what we owe you. All of that, whole shooting match, good to go. We've made it through that part. Financing is coming together. We're getting all of our stuff. You've had the conversation with the lender. Hey, we got so much incentive money. How are we using it? Are we buying down our rate? Are we using it for closing costs? Are we doing a price reduction? You've had that conversation. You know what you're doing. And now we've finally made it to actually closing day. So usually either the day before or the day of when you close on a new home, you will go back to that property and do one final walkthrough. This is the point when you say, hey, yeah, we that wall in the bedroom, it needed to be repainted. And you walk in and you're like, yep, y'all repainted it. We're good to go. You sign off. Everything's good to go. The builder will demaster the keys to your home. So in a new construction community, all of those homes are on one singular key just for the sake of getting trades and things in and out. On closing day or right before, the builder will go through and rekey your home so that it is not keyed like anybody else's in the neighborhood. So you don't have to worry about like some random person having a key to your house. So you'll do your builder walk. You'll go to title or wherever we're signing paperwork. You'll sign your paperwork. If you're with the builder's preferred lender, oftentimes, depending on the builder, if you use their preferred lender, this is a perk for that. They will give you your keys immediately. They will say, oh yeah, well, you're with our lender. We don't have to wait on funding and all those things. Here's your keys. We're ready. Here you go. And again, case by case, but most of the time with your preferred lenders, that's usually the case. So you get your keys, you go celebrate, you enjoy your brand new home, and it is brilliant and you love it and you're so excited. And then you move in and you hire movers, because let's be honest, and all of your friends, they don't want to be paid in pizza and beer anymore to move you out of your house into your new house. It's not worth the stress. It's not worth the anger. Hire movers. You'll thank me later. I promise. Hire the movers. So you enjoy your new house. You get to enjoy it. Love it. Last couple things you need to remember is, of course, utilities. The builder's going to give you, 48 hours of courtesy time. But get the water in your name. Get the electricity in your name. Get all that moved over. Make sure you forward your mail. Get your HOA stuff. If you've got an HOA, get your pool keys. Get your mailbox keys. Get all of those things squared away. And then go into your calendar and pull up your phone, open your calendar, and go 9 months from closing. And then set an appointment. And on that appointment, you're going to write, get home re-inspected. Here's why I tell you to do that. Most builders offer some variation of a 1-2-10 or 1-2-6, which is what we're getting to now, form of warranty. So that 1 year is anything workmanship-wise, cosmetic or otherwise. So what I always like to tell people is, hey, about month 9 or 10, after you've lived in that home, there's going to be things that have, that you notice, right? That you just didn't notice on the front end because your home wasn't lived in. So the best thing to do is get your inspector to come back out about month 9, month 10, month 11, somewhere in that range. Get them to re-inspect the home, and then you have a list for your closeout of your 1 year warranty. So if you need to make any claims on your warranty, you have the ability to do so. You have a clear list of everything that you're expecting. Also, just know in general, the warranty process on new construction, it's kind of difficult. Not that it is super important to do, but sometimes it is kind of a difficult process, and that is kind of a blanket statement on every builder. Like, it's just kind of difficult. So that's why the inspection is super helpful. And then you can turn that into the portal or the email or however the builder does it to get those things taken care of and looked at, and then make sure you enjoy your new home. And then you did it and you love it and it's awesome. And here's the fun thing is, like, you buy that new home and we're seeing people build tons of equity super quick, especially in those new construction spaces. So you're making those great financial decisions, you're building memories, all that fun stuff, and it's a great experience. So if you're ready to do that and you're like, I want to buy a new house, and you're like, whether it's the end of 2023 and you're like, I want to buy a new house, or it's the first part of 2024 and you're like, let's buy a new house, I'm here to help. I'm here to answer any questions that you have. Like I said, new construction is the space that I absolutely love. I do a ton of it. I think I'm pretty decent at it. So I want to help you and your family any way I can. Contact information is down at the bottom. Call, text, email, whatever works. I'm here for you. If you want like a face-to-face and let's jump on Zoom, you can book that down in the description below. If you want to look at homes, you're like, I don't even know where to start, like what's out there. There is a link in the description to look at new construction homes that are quick move-ins with great incentives. You can do that as well. So yeah, I'm here to help any way I can, but you got to reach out and I would love to help you. So if you found value in the video, thumbs up goes a long way, helps me help more people. And if you want to continue to learn about new construction content and homes and how to buy here in DFW, subscribe to our channel. We have several videos coming out every single week to help you make the best decisions possible when it comes to your next home. So see you in our next video. Thanks for hanging out today. Bye for now.